Changes the chemical composition of the substance is called a chemical reactions. The chemical reactions has two parts, the reactants and the products. The reactants are the starting materials and the products are the materials formed. Chemical reaction is represented by chemical equations. It shows the formula and phases of the reactants and products, the amount of the substance used and the amount of substance formed. An arrow separates the reactants from products with a plus sign is placed between the reactants and the products. Table 1 shows common symbol used in a chemical equation.
Writing a chemical equation requires you to be familiar with the formula of the reactants and the products and the symbols stated above. Let us consider writing a chemical reaction from the given word reaction. Sample: zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. Table 2 shows the symbol for each word in the word equation. Notice that the elements
in the reactants and the elements in the product side are the same. All chemical reactions follow the law of conservation of mass. Antoine Lavoisier, a French chemist, proposed the law of conservation of mass, which states that mass is neither created nor destroyed in chemical reaction. This means that during the chemical reaction, the mass of the reactants is conserved.
the mass of reactants before the reaction and the mass of the product after the reaction remain the same, so mass is conserved even though the reactants change in terms of chemical properties, composition, and structural organizations. To further understand this, we need to view the reaction at molecular level. This reaction can be written using
From the chemical equation of the vinegar in baking soda reaction, notice the formula and the number of atoms on both sides are indicated. The reactants and products have equal number of elements. This is a balanced chemical equation. C equals 3, H equals 5, O equals 5, N equals 1. In terms of molar mass, the sum of the molar mass of the reactants is equal to the total sum of the major masses of the product. A balanced chemical equation follows the law of conservation of mass. The elements in the reactants are the same in number and kind as the products. To balance an equation, a coefficient or whole number is written before the chemical formula of the substance. Table 3 shows the steps that can be followed in balancing a chemical equation.
Table 3 shows the step that can be followed in balancing a chemical equation. Step 1. Write the formula of the substances. Step 2. Count the numbers of atoms on each side of the equation. Step 3. Adjust the coefficient to get the same number of atoms of every element on each side of the equation. Think of the lowest possible number for a coefficient. Step 4. Place the coefficient before the formula. Step 5. Count the atoms in the reactants and products.
Chemical reactions occur everywhere. Most of them happen constantly within our bodies, to other organisms, and non-living things as well. Combustion reaction or burning is a chemical reaction between hydrocarbons reacting with oxygen gas that produce carbon dioxide and water. Charcoal or coal is a carbon reacting with oxygen gas producing carbon dioxide. Fuel plus oxygen to carbon dioxide. For the combustion of propane gas plus oxygen gas to carbon dioxide gas plus water gas. Another chemical reaction is in the barbecue. The heat breaks down proteins and turns them into amino acids, which react to sugar present in the meat until it browns.
4 general types of reactions. Number 1. Combination or synthesis reaction is a type of chemical reaction wherein two or more substances combine to form a new substance. Decomposition or analysis reaction is a type of chemical reaction wherein reactants break down into simple substances. This occurs with the aid of an external force like energy or catalyst, which speeds up or slows down the process. The third is single replacement or displacement reaction, also known as substitution reaction. Is a type of chemical reaction where the most active substance replaces the least active. And last but not the least, double replacement, displacement, or metathesis reaction is a reaction that involves the exchange of ions between two compounds and forms a new compound.
A new compound. Another type of chemical reaction is acid-base reaction or neutralization. Its reactants are between substances with a greater number of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions, which produce salt and water. An example is taking antacids when having hyperacidity. All types of chemical reactions follow the law of conservation of mass once they are balanced correctly. That is, the number and kinds of atoms in the reactants are equal to the number and kinds of atoms in the product.